So I'm sure you guys are aware of the Russell Brand saga, that he's been accused of rape and sexual impropriety by multiple women in the UK. I have a few challenges with this. Number one, believe all women. That is no longer a thing, thankfully. That doesn't mean that what these women have stated is a lie. That means that the Christine Blasey Fords and those who accused with great doubt the sexual impropriety of others like Brett Kavanaugh have made it difficult for me to automatically side with the women. Secondly, Brand is already being canceled. He lost his YouTube monetization over what? Over an allegation? So somebody accuses you of something in a public way. They did not even go to the police. This is being done in the media. This smacks of a cancellation attempt against somebody who is not in favor of the machine, who has spoken vociferously out against Pfizer and Moderna and the profits they've reaped from the public, against lockdowns for freedom, against the war in Ukraine.
We do. We love facts. I love facts.
I wouldn't have mentioned it. I'm English, and you know that politeness is our fundamental religion.
Yeah.
But they do pertain to this issue, so may I say some of them?
Please,
if they
please
inconvenience you, I'll stop saying them. The pandemic created at least 40 new big pharma billionaires. Pharmaceutical corporations like Moderna and Pfizer made $1,000 of profit every second from the COVID-19 vaccine. More than two-thirds of Congress received campaign funding from pharmaceutical companies in the 2020 election. Pfizer chairman Albert Bourla told Time magazine in July 2020 that his company was developing a COVID vaccine for the good of humanity, not for money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 billion in profit in 2022. And may I just mention, finally, and this is also a fact, that you, the American public, funded the development of that. The German public funded the BioNTech vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. It's difficult not to...
But I will just add one thing. It is possible that these are greedy capitalists who made a lot of money, and also there are a lot of people who did need the vaccine.
Yes.
There are a lot of people who did need the vaccine. I never wanted to be told I was one of them who had to take it. But there are lots of people who needed that vaccine and would be dead without it. That is true, too.
Bill.
That is true, too.
More facts.
All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military-industrial complex benefits from war, where energy companies benefit from energy crises, you are going to generate states of perpetual crisis, where the interests of ordinary people separate from the interests of the elites.
Does anybody see the fact that they've waited 15, 16 years when this man used to brag about his bad behavior, make fun of himself? Now that he's dictating something that is anti-establishment, now they come after him 15, 16 years later. This arouses my suspicion a great deal. They didn't go to the police. The media has seemingly conjured this story. And again, the worst part about it is that, let's just say that it's true, that they waited until Brand became a thorn in the establishment to come after him. Does that invigorate you and give you faith in our system of justice? It certainly doesn't me. The fact that he's being canceled by the BBC, by YouTube, over, again, allegations. I suppose that YouTube has the right to cancel anybody's monetization, even though I never took ad revenue. I was monetized. They demonetized me. I thought that it was an insult, and it ticked me off. Imagine Russell Brand, who has 6 million subscribers. They are doing all they can to ruin this man's life. Now, if he actually did these horrible things that he's accused of, there has to be justice to pay. I have a 3-year-old daughter. I would hate it if some celebrity used his power and influence in order to take advantage of her in the future. That would really bother me. But at the same time, I'm very much bothered by the way that the media, that the machine is treating Brand, that this was conjured up in the media, and it definitely smacks to me as to those who are going after their proverbial enemy. The same thing that happened with Julian Assange, that you can just manufacture a sex crime against them, and because it's ambiguous, because we generally want to believe that the woman is telling the truth about it, because if I was a woman and I were to do that and ruin a man's life, I would not be able to live with myself. But that's me. I come from a very strong moral compass of fairness, whereas other people don't. Maybe they're influenced by money, by drugs, by misremembering something. All these things are possible. But once again, the machine is taking out a wrench that has been thrown in their spokes, that is Russell Brand, and tossing it aside into the dustbin of history. This appears to be the attempt.